Mr. Speaker, is the Prime Minister aware that today's report from the National Audit Office shows that the government sold Rover for at least £60 million less than it was worth? Will the Prime Minister now make a public apology for this gross incompetence?
Mr. Speaker, apart from the year it sold Jaguar, Rover had not made a profit since 1976. It was a major achievement successfully to privatise this company, and the government struck the best deal it believed it could in all the circumstances of the sale.
But, Mr. Speaker, doesn't the Prime Minister recall that this is the second time in 2 years that the government has shortchanged the British public by selling off assets?
No, Mr. Speaker. Rover Leyland had not made a profit at all, except in the year when it sold Jaguar. It was only able to carry on at all because of a government guarantee to trade creditors and a government guarantee to the banks. The liability building up on the British taxpayer was enormous. It was a very good thing to be able to privatise Rover under those circumstances.
Mr. Speaker, does the Prime Minister think that that in any way excuses selling off a company for £60 million less than it was worth?
Well, Mr. Speaker, if it was such a good bargain, why did the tea user unions not try to buy it first?
Curtis! Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, would the Prime Minister be good enough to tell us which of the policies that she leaves to her successor she now thinks should be scrapped?
I am happy that my successor will carry on the excellent policies that in fact have finished with the decline of socialism and have brought great prosperity to this country, which have raised Britain's standing in the world and in fact have brought about a truly capital-owning democracy.
But, Mr. Speaker, if the Prime Minister thinks that nothing should be changed, can she tell us why on earth all of those now competing for her job are desperately wriggling around trying to find a way out of the poll tax trap?
I really rather thought that they were keeping the poll. Community charge, or whatever they calls it, and whatever review they have, the result will be infinitely better than going back to the rates, which of course will be the worst of all worlds.
May I, Mr. Speaker, since this could conceivably be the last time that the Prime Minister answers, say to her that her honest approach on the poll tax is commendable, because she's demonstrating that there are two, and only two, honest approaches. One is to keep the poll tax intact, as she wants. The other one is to abolish it entirely, as we will do.
No, Mr. Speaker, that is not correct. As with any new tax, one always both reviews it and continually amends it. I would have thought the right honourable gentleman would have known that after this time.
Joe Knight.
With the fourth amendment that has been approved by the Hungarian Parliament, there is a breach of fundamental European values. My request to you, Mr. President and Mr. Chairman, is that we should put that point of Hungary tomorrow on the agenda of the European Parliament when we have our discussion with the Commission and with the Irish Presidency. Why I'm saying that? Because Article 7 of the treaty Article 7 of the treaty is very clear. It is 1/3 of the member states who can put, in fact, the problem on the agenda. The Commission can do it. Maybe, Mrs. Reding, you can do it in 1 hour because you have a college now. Maybe you can take the decision now to go for an Article 7, paragraph 1 procedure against Hungary. Or the European Parliament can do it. But what cannot happen is that this plenary session in Strasbourg is ending without a decision of this Parliament on the case of Hungary and without any action of the Commission and any action of the Council. In fact, what is happening is that Mr. Orban is laughing and joking with us by, in fact, doing this. And I should ask to my good friend, Mr. Daul, who have already made statements, and a number of statements, I think 1 month ago against Mr. Berlusconi, has now also the courage that his PPE stops to support Mr. Orban in this breach of the European values and principles.
Honourable member.
Honourable Minister, it is not enough to say that he was exercising his rights to free speech and giving his own political view. He is, as all of us are, sworn to uphold the constitution of this country. He is, moreover, under Section 92, as are you, Honourable Minister, under an obligation to act in terms of the Constitution. The question, therefore, is whether the Honourable Minister is harbouring an anti-constitutionalist in her ministry. And it is a very serious matter, because what the Honourable Ramatlhodi argues is that our Constitution, as negotiated, immigrates power away from the executive and the legislature and towards the courts, and that the old order has built a fortified line in the courts.
Chief Whip. Order, honourable members, order.
Honourable Speaker, the Chief Whip of the ANC, as it happens, of course, holds views distinctly similar to those of the Honourable Ramatlhodi, inasmuch as he has told people inside this House and outside that they may not say that they may take the secrecy bill to the Constitutional Court if it does not comply with the Constitution. Your mistake is exactly the same as that of the Honourable Ngwaku. Ma'am, the question is, are you harbouring an anti-constitutionalist in your ministry? Do you accept, does he accept the separation of the powers? If not, he is a democratic centralist.
The Honourable Minister.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker and Honourable Smarts. In my view, there's not a single member of the African National Congress, the ruling party thereof, who would not be loyal to the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa. We all are. Not only are we loyal to, have we pledged our loyalty to this Constitution, but in fact, we actually are architects together with you of this very Constitution. And the fact that, of course, Comrade Ngwaku has expressed his views about some elements or some aspects of that Constitution does not make him either to be construed as a person who is not loyal to the Constitution of the Republic. He is. However, I think all of us have a right, and at one point or the other, to begin to engage, to examine, to assess, to analyze the situation around us. And in fact, remember, by the way, that that Constitution, which was drafted in 1996, was a Constitution where all of us were prepared to give and take. To give and take, if only to heal the nation, if only to build the nation. And that's exactly what happened here. And therefore, if one of us today, together with yourselves, identify some elements of that Constitution to be problematic, there's nothing wrong with that. It's important to continue to examine, to continue to assess our surroundings and make sure that at some point we are in line with our needs in the country.
I thank the Honourable Minister.
President Lee Myung-bak leaves office in 10 days, and on Thursday, the National Assembly took the chance to review the performance of the outgoing government. Both ruling and opposition lawmakers agreed that the government's North Korea policy has been far from successful, as it failed to discourage Pyongyang's nuclear ambitions. Calling for a new policy direction, the lawmakers said they believe that the Lee Myung-bak administration focused too much on strengthening ties with the U.S., which they think displeased China. The lawmakers also passed a revised bill condemning Pyongyang's recent nuclear test.
Getting China's cooperation is of the essence to solving the North Korea problem. China provides North Korea with crude oil and rice. We must have China on board with these sanctions to make them effective.
Yes, the government understands that we need to make the sanctions against North Korea effective through close cooperation with China. This government has made such efforts over the past 5 years.
Some lawmakers also took issue with the wider income disparity during the Lee administration's 5-year term.
If we calculate the accumulated growth rate for the 4 years of the current government, just counting the years we have statistics for, the nation saw 13% growth during the 4-year period. But data shows the real wage of workers actually decreased by nearly 1%. Who took all the fruits of the growth?
But the finance minister gave himself a pat on the back, saying that it's a miracle that Korea saw the economy grow, not retreat, during the time of global economic downturn.
During that 4-year period, only 3 developed countries saw their domestic economies grow: Korea, Germany, and Australia. All other countries saw their economies contract. For those countries, it would be unfit to discuss this topic about workers' real wages.
自然災害が発生した際の非常災害対策本部等々の開催の事務局は、現在でいうところ内閣府の防災担当がずっとやっております。この防災担当部局に阪神・淡路大震災以降の議事録あるいは議事概要等々の状況について調べていただいたところ、作成されていないというそういう調査結果の報告を受けております。
岡田担当大臣。
これはお答えになるかどうか分かりませんが、当時のこの法案の担当者は私の前任、蓮舫議員であります。
復興大臣、基金シートを作るというのはこの夏以降ですから、実はこの夏以降だと時差が生じて、今なおこれだけ残っているお金が使われちゃう可能性があるんです。
Srimati Dimple Yadav.
Thank you, Speaker, sir, for giving me an opportunity today to speak here. I would like to start from the Delhi Nirbhaya case, which took place in December 2012, which shook the whole nation, sir. And within a month's time, Criminal Amendment Act 2013 was passed here. Sir, before me, many MPs here have given the suggestions, and I would also like to give the suggestions. Various forms of violence against women and children continue to be on an increase. According to the National Crime Records Bureau of India, reported incidents of crime against women have increased 6.4% during 2012. I would like to put some suggestive measures needed to curb crime against women. Ma'am, by vigorously enforcing the existing legislations relating to crime against women and children, like the Dowry Prohibition Act 1961, Child Marriage Restraint Act, and many such acts, ma'am, it is very important for police personnel to be responsible for the implementation. The administration and police should play a very proactive role in detection and investigation of crime against women and ensuring that there is no underreporting of the cases. Special centers should be created to tackle such problems, ma'am. Ma'am, in Uttar Pradesh, ma'am, we have launched a special, Women's Power Helpline, number 1090. Excuse me, it is working.
No cross.
Sir,
you address to chair. No cross talking, please.
Sir, it has worked in UP, sir. And sir, the number of complaints that were registered were 2,46,110. Out of this, sir, 2,15,240 cases were solved. So by increasing the overall representation of women in the police forces, we can make a huge difference, as our Honourable Minister has already suggested. Sensitizing the law enforcement machinery towards crime against women by well-structured training programs, meeting and seminars for police personnel at all the levels, as well as for the functionaries of the criminal judicial system. Develop a community monitoring system to check the cases of violence, abuse and exploitation and take necessary steps to curb the same. So involving the community at large in creating such awareness programs is going to make a huge difference. So organizing legal literacy and legal awareness camps, this is a very important point. By providing them the knowledge regarding the laws which are available to strengthen us, sir, it is going to change the scenario. So there should be no delay whatsoever in the registration of an FIR in all the cases. Sir, this is my first...
Now you please conclude, madam.
Okay. Sir. Okay, 2 minutes, sir, I will conclude. Sir, let me... sir, there are... So steps should be also taken for the protection against the crime against children. First, to decrease the vulnerability of children to sexual exploitation. Second, to develop a nationwide capacity to provide a rapid, effective and measured investigative response to the crimes against children. And third, to enhance the capabilities of the state and local law enforcement investigators through programs, investigative assistance and task force operations. So we have to change this all together. And I would like to
quote...
Okay,
thank you.
Sir, last line, sir.
No, okay.
Sir, नेताजी वैसे खुश हैं, बोलने पे ही खुश हैं. नहीं.
No cross-talking, please. Now you have to conclude in half second.
Yes, I'm concluding, sir.
The very best on this momentous occasion when the Indian Parliament has completed its 60th year. I feel privileged to be in the company of Mr. Rishangi Singh, the eldest member of this House, who had the distinction of serving as a member of the first Lok Sabha in 1952. It's not only a tribute to his good health and stamina, but also to his credibility that he has sustained the upheavals of politics for more than 6 decades. And we are privileged to have him amidst us today, sir. Sir, today is an occasion for us to celebrate. It's an occasion to rejoice. It's also an occasion to introspect and prepare ourselves for the challenges of the future. The Honorable Prime Minister just now in his very scholarly address has highlighted the role of this House and the functions that it has performed over the last 6 decades. He has also briefly towards the end referred to the challenges which lie ahead of us. 60 years, sir, is a very major event in the life of an individual. We regard it for an individual as an age of maturity. The governments regard it as an age where individuals get fatigued and they retire them. But in the life of a nation, 60 years is only a drop in the ocean. 60 years in the life of a nation is a period where the foundations of a system are laid down.
I have the high privilege and the distinct honor of presenting to you the President of the United States.
A mere 5 weeks from taking office, President Barack Obama addressed a nation he acknowledged has been shaken by the economic crisis. Yet the language of his debut speech to Congress was confident and upbeat.
Tonight, I want every American to know this. We will rebuild. We will recover, and the United States of America will emerge stronger than before.
Obama said a day of reckonings arrived after years of easy money, lax oversight, and ducking tough choices.
What is required now is for this country to pull together, confront boldly the challenges we face, and take responsibility for our future once more.